I got a hard stop too, guys.
Because of Love Island?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow. This might be an episode where we end up talking. Like, I might have a lot of questions as we go. I apologize in advance if this is garbage because of the guest.
Please do. We don't
It
mind.
will not be garbage. We've only had one garbage episode and no one's ever seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That's a secret one. No, it's
We've
not.
only had one episode we never aired.
You should pull some pieces from it and then do like...
It was 2000s comedies.
Like
and
movies.
we just sat there and listed movies for an hour straight. Remember this one? Oh, yeah, I do. Do you remember this one? It was so bad.
I think that sounds pretty good. Like, I'd watch that.
I don't know about that. Right when we got done, we're never using this. We just wasted an hour of our lives. Anyways.
Today we have a special guest. We have Jason Henkel, the owner of Olliewood Action Sports in Dubuque, Iowa's only full-service indoor skate park. He's here to talk about action sports, community, and of course, Blocktoberfest, which is actually going on this weekend.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Jason. Not sure how familiar you are with our podcast, but every week we kick things off with a little tradition. We each share something that's been making us mad lately. So if you're game, we're hoping you would do the honors and go first. What are you mad about? What are you mad about this week?
Well, my lifestyle revolves around recreation and community. So when people prioritize like TV and video games over like cool things, that really, really ticks me off. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Are we quitting this early for a reason?
I think we're picking up what you're putting down. We hopped on this call and Maddie was like, "Hey guys, hard stop at 6:30."
And then they asked why.
Why?
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed to say the Love Island reunion is on tonight, and I have someone coming over, so we have a hard stop. They're like, "You're stopping the podcast for Love Island?" I said, "Unfortunately, I'm very embarrassed to say this, but yes."
Yeah. Well,
I've never seen Love Island. Just for the audience, no.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
He has to make that clear.
Yeah, I gotta lay that out there.
I was going to say, for the listeners that have been here since day one, you remember me spending the whole last summer telling Maddie how much she would like Love Island. And guess what? She fucking does.
I was you, Jay. I was anti.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be real. Like the only place I've ever heard it mentioned before is on your podcast.
Oh my
I've never
God.
heard anyone say anything about it other than the two of you. So do you apply to be, I have some questions about this. Do you apply to be a guest?
On
On Love Island?
Love Island?
Yeah.
So
Wait, you're mad.
There's a few different ways. There's a few different ways that I know of. You can apply. There's recruiters that will reach out to people on social media that they think would be a good fit. And then they have pop-up events where you go and apply in person too, just kind of interview quick. So they get kind of a wide array. But this year was unfortunate. They got all people with a huge social following, and I feel like it had a negative impact on the show. So I feel like they're going to switch up their recruiting efforts next year.
But what other kind of person would want to be on the show other than somebody who's looking for like social clout? That's honestly the only you can say they're looking for love.
Love
sure.
Island. You're looking for it's like the
true
I
love.
pictured it like The Bachelor.
Yeah,
and I know
it
you
is.
make an audition tape for The Bachelor
But it's much more sluttier and much more
trashy.
Yeah, way trashier. Like these people aren't trying to be classy.
Or engaging in turn. It's great. And
highly addictive.
From The Bachelor in that they're filming and editing live. But anyways, we always spend way too much time on Love Island. And I found out that
glad we're
some of our
keeping the
listeners
status
have
quo.
no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, we're mad at Maddie this week.
Yeah, well, what I'm mad about is kind of similar. It's about like current pop culture. I've spent way too much time in the past week thinking about Labubus. Do you guys know what Labubus are?
Are they the freaky little toys?
Yes. Essentially, they're like this little keychain the size of your fist that looks like a little monster or something.
Yeah,
And
like a Tamagotchi.
People are paying thousands of dollars for them online, but it's literally just like a little stuffed animal keychain. and like adults are wearing them. I saw probably 100 of them at the Hinterland Festival of like people who like looked normal other than the Labubu hanging on their, jean whatever.
And they're creepy as hell.
Yeah. You got to
They're
check
So
these
they
out.
wear it on like a belt loop.
Yes.
On like a carabiner or something?
Like anywhere.
Yeah.
Some put them on their purse. Backpack.
It's like this big. Like,
yeah,
it's sizely.
So like, I feel like to put it in terms that like we can understand is like they kind of look like Furbies, but they have no technology behind them. They're just stuffed animals, but they're like ugly like Furbies. Remember how kind of creepy Furbies were back in the day?
Like how big are they?
They're little.
That's bigger than I thought. Like I pictured
big
like
enough
a keychain.
to make a statement. Yeah.
Big enough to make a statement. That's the pull quote for the episode. Yeah.
I'm so confused on what they are and where they came from and what's happening where people are
and they're
actually
expensive.
It seems like a joke. I thought it was all a joke, but I guess it's like real.
Dude, Google how expensive they are.
I have no idea.
I don't know how to spell it. Otherwise, I would Google it.
Labubu shop. Oh, goodness. To buy.
I saw they were handing them out at a red carpet event for I Know What You Did Last Summer. They were giving all the guests them, and some of them, or all the celebrities that were on the show. And some of them knew what they were, and some of them were like, I'm too old for this shit. I have no idea what you just handed me.
Okay, so I actually think they're cheap. If you go and you're able to get one on the website, it looks like they're about like $15. But the problem is everyone's selling them for like hundreds and thousands of dollars. When you open it, you don't know what one you're going to get.
Oh.
And so then they trade them and stuff. But
I'm interrupting, and this is not my wheelhouse at all.
No, this is not anybody's wheelhouse.
So
I just keep trying to relate them in my head. And so are they kind of like Beanie Babies where there's regular ones, but then there's special edition ones that cost a lot more?
I don't know. I have no idea. I just had to bring this up because I've been thinking about them and I think they're so silly and I don't comprehend what they are.
Listen to me trying to make like
see them.
Millennial practical.
Yeah, like you open it and you don't know what one you're going to get.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Those unboxing videos are about to go viral.
Yeah. I thought that they were going on other places other than like where I live, but apparently they're out there. I'm starting to see them in the wild.
Yeah. I'm mad about that too now.
Yeah, dude, I'm pissed. To be totally honest, I'm mad. This is like you know what else I'm mad about? This is a good segue into it. Before I say this, do either of you drive a Jeep?
I do.
Like a Wrangler. A Wrangler?
I have
Do you have all those fucking ducks on the dashboard?
No, I'm not a duck girl.
What the fuck is that? I don't get it.
You duck each other. I don't know. Like, I'll admit when I come out of Target and there's a duck on my car, I'm like, oh, thanks for thinking of me. And then I throw it in my glove compartment and I wait until I have friends riding in the passenger seat and I'll have them like go duck people just to get rid of them because I'm not putting them out on display in my vehicle.
Oh, so it happens when people aren't looking.
Yeah, like you go in somewhere and you'll come out and there'll be a duck on your car or on your Jeep, I guess. Sorry.
My mom does the same thing, and she thinks she's a bad Jeep owner for not participating. But
no, I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like of all vehicles, like the duck belongs on the Jeep last because it's an all-terrain vehicle. It shouldn't be on flat ground. Like that duck should be moving all over the place. If you put it on the dashboard, it should be falling on the ceiling because you're rolling that thing, right?
I want to know why is it a duck? Where did that come from? What is the history behind this?
One person can make a ripple.
Yeah.
Should we just devote this whole podcast to figuring that out?
Yeah. Never mind about Olliewood and Blocktoberfest. Let's figure out the origin of fucking Jeep ducks.
The duck.
It's a mystery.
I've never thought about that in my life. So thanks for bringing this up. Now I'm going to think differently about it every time.
We're gonna bring you back for another episode on this one, Jay. So
so shout out to my cousin Willie Tigas, who does the Social for Travel Dubuque and owns Chain Vintage. Rad dude. He gifted my mom a couple of these ducks, and I've seen them in Jeeps before, but he explained to me that it's a thing. I guarantee he would know exactly. He's like, oh, it started here. Yeah, like he'd know all about it. But
that guy that would know Love that.
Yeah,
Tell them
100%.
to let us know. I love that.
I will.
So Lex, what else? What's making you mad?
Okay, my mad, and I'll try to keep this short and sweet, but I was in Atlanta Sunday through Thursday last week and had a 9:45 p.m. flight out of Atlanta to Moline. And things were running a little behind, not too bad, but I was just tired and ready to get home. And did you guys just hear my dog? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Bro, go lay down. He's pissed. He's upstairs tonight. Okay. But I was tired and ready to go home. And we get on the flight. And I'm not saying this to rag on her, but our flight attendant was so mean to us. And she was like ordering us around, being very rude. And at one point I had my headphones in during the flight and I took them out to hear her telling someone to say that to her again, and it would be the last time ever. She was screaming it in his face with her finger, and he started filming it. And I don't know what the whole story is, but regardless, he might have done something, but it was just a bad experience. And I'm not mad at her. It's just stuck with me since the trip, and I want to know what the fuck ruined her day. Like, I honestly feel bad for her because people don't get jobs dealing with people if you don't like people. Like, something was going on there, and it's driving me insane. I'm still thinking about it, and that was my Thursday PM flight.
Damn, you almost saw like a viral moment go down.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, what is happening? But she was kind of like, my friend needed something. My coworker needed something on the flight, and she kind of like yelled at her for turning on her light. And it was just it was unreal. So something was going down.
Yeah, I'm super impressed with your like empathetic response though. Instead of like being like, yeah, she was a total bitch. Like, you're like, yeah, man, I feel bad for her.
Like, something must have happened.
Yeah, after all the Love Island talk, now this empathy, I feel like, yeah, you're complex.
Love Island is like a social experiment in itself. Okay.
Yeah. Me being the nice Midwest girly that I am, I kept trying to be overly nice to her then. Like, when she came to offer snacks and drinks, I was like, thank you. I'm good. Thank you so much. You know, like overcompensating. And she was just like, okay. And then I was like, well,
thought I got her.
She's probably Atlanta based, and I'm probably creeping her out by my Midwest like tendencies. So she's probably like, whoa.
Or she's just a Moline biatch.
Maybe she's that's what's funny. She's from Moline, and she was just late to getting home, and it was all of our problem. It could have been that too, but yeah, it was insane. I'm waiting for that video, like just to be scrolling TikTok, and it comes along.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that happen in real life. So
no,
yeah, not on a plane.
Yeah. So if somehow this makes it to her, I hope you are having a better day today than you were last Thursday.
Yes, I do too. But be a little bit nicer next time.
Yeah, but it wasn't our fault, I don't think. So be cool.
Wow. Well, thanks for joining us on the Mads, Jay. You really kicked it off with a good one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Although it's about me, so I'm glad.
I mean, it's about both of you, to be totally honest.
It is. I just didn't know it yet. But
anyways, we're here to talk about you, not my Love Island obsession. How did you first get into BMX and action sports?
All right, so I was born and raised in Dubuque, Iowa, and Dubuque, Iowa is a wonderful place, with both of you know, and I think a lot of the audience probably is aware. But there's this feeling about Dubuque that all the great things happen outside of Dubuque. So growing up, I always had this desire to leave. My dad always wanted to get out of it because it was cold. And so I was always drawn to things that didn't happen in Dubuque. So I grew up riding motocross, which was like dirt bikes and stuff. And that was a big West Coast thing. And grew up riding BMX, which was something that you primarily saw on the coast, a little bit in Colorado. So that was kind of the catalyst for like choosing something like that versus more of a traditional stick and ball sport when I was young. It was just kind of innate in me, things that weren't kind of challenged the status quo. If no one did it, I was like, oh, what's that? I'm curious about it. So that was a big draw. I mean, mainly that background in motocross really got me into BMX. But yeah, I started when I was young, and I have ridden BMX when I was 3 years old. Raced for the first time in 1993. When I was 8. I know. And then, yeah, I've ridden ever since.
That's awesome.
It's amazing your parents were super supportive of that during that time, especially living in Dubuque, because like you said, it wasn't
there was
just
nothing to do here. Yeah, you traveled. Like
you
there
had
was no skate parks. There were no trails. Like we didn't have mountain bike trails even. Like we had nothing. But my dad and I grew up racing motocross, which a motocross bike at the time was like thousands of dollars, and a BMX bike was hundreds. So that was like an easy thing to do. Motocross bike, you're transporting in a trailer or a truck. BMX bike, if you're on the roof of the van or in the back of the van, it was a little bit easier to them. So super grateful to my old man for being into weird shit.
Well, and you're a parent. I'm sure that going into, you're not going to go all in on this thousands and thousands of dollar sport with an 8-year-old or, you know, who 100%. Knows what they're going to end up loving.
Parents do it. It's wild. That honestly, when I first was honored to be asked as a guest, my rant was going to be about parents these days. But I figured I'm not going to go in like, I don't want to come in hot. I don't want to make any enemies off the bat. So
you can do it here. That's what we're here for.
No, that's what we're here for.
It's lighthearted rants.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have balanced it somehow.
Okay. Yeah, that whole like parents like just going all in and little Timmy wants this. So, okay, here's the credit card. You say this is good, we'll get that.
We're all in now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
So grew up riding BMX, and I owe a big piece. So like right now, I'm 41 years old. I have a couple businesses I run. I have a good amount of independence, and the skills that I learned that allow me to have the lifestyle I do, I have primarily because of BMX. And a lot of it was growing up in Dubuque where we didn't have resources. We didn't have a skate park. We didn't have programs. Like you had to really do it yourself. If you wanted to ride ramps, you had to go build them. And as a kid, you got to figure out like, what are you going to build them with? How do you build them? There weren't plans available. So me and a really core group of friends really had to figure things out in order to pursue our passions. And that really changed the way a lot of us viewed the world. And it, instead of viewing it as like a challenge, it became a playground. Like I want to do this thing I enjoy. So yeah, where I feel like most people get hindered by the obstacle became the way to live the way we wanted to.
That's a super cool perspective on that.
Yeah.
Like, where did you guys build ramps and trails when you're, 12, 13 years old?
Yeah. So there was always the chicken trails. Have either of you heard of the chicken trails?
I've been to the chicken trails.
Yeah. Let's go. So when I was a kid though, when I first started riding, I wasn't allowed to go to the chicken trails because that's where all the bad kids went. The stigma around BMX and skateboarding was alive and well. So we built our own trails in Asbury. We had the Asbury trails. So until I was maybe a sophomore in high school, like there was a really it was the Montagues and the Capulets, the chicken trail riders and the Asbury trail riders. The chicken trail riders were like the Pollen brothers and Sean Fox and Randy Briner and like that solid crew. Then there was Mark Paisley and Rob Kubik and John Davis and Josh Gansver and myself like on the west end. And so eventually we'd go to each other's spots to ride and we all met and we all were like, yo, these guys are cool. And then our trails got plowed. So we all started going to the chicken trails and that was our spot.
It. I've never heard the origin story.
That is really cool to know now, but not saying that girls don't ride bikes, but Maddie, what boy took you to the chicken trails?
I don't remember. I've been there quite a few times. We had a group of friends that would hang out.
I remember you coming down.
Yeah. I've also one time been to the warehouse and I did try to drop in on a bike once. It was kind of...
So I was going to bring that up once we got there. It was a scary moment for me, but you handled it like a champ. You kept it on 2 wheels. It was amazing.
And I know
I've seen people that claim to ride. Yeah. You didn't even have to. I've seen people that claim to ride bikes do worse than you.
Hell yeah. I'm going to actually hold on to that for a while. I need that.
You should.
Thanks.
Good job, Maddie. I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So the warehouse she's referencing, I was fortunate to travel around and ride bikes for a while. And then when I came back to Dubuque, there was no skate park here other than we call it OG, but it's down by Q Casino. That was the only one. In the winter, there was no place to ride. So a crew of 8 of us chipped in money and rented this Quonset hut, which basically looked like an airplane hangar, from Tim McNamara, who helped to develop like the Voices building in the Millwork District area. He's really responsible for a lot of that. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he's a catalyst for what we see in the Millwork District now. So we rented this building from him, cut us a super good deal. We had a bunch of property owners like that had rental property donate some lumber to us because we were just paying out of our pockets to do it. We built the skate park. And on Thursdays, we'd have ramp night. And it was like private to us 8 until Thursday came. Thursday, we'd open up the doors, let anyone who wanted to come. You just had to bring us a 6-pack if you wanted to ride.
Yes.
And that was the deal on Thursdays. Called it ramp night. It was super fun. Always went to Paul's Tap after.
That was so fun. When did you stop doing that?
So we actually, the warehouse was a huge learning experience when it comes to business and leadership, because we really set up, that was the first LLC any of us had set up, and tried to build, rather than like have a business or something that depends on you, we tried to build a system. So we had our core group of 8, and we all appointed like leadership positions, and we all picked someone to take over for us, and we were going to step aside and just be able to go ride whenever we wanted. We'd pay our dues. We were trying to build like this kind of membership organization. And so maybe 4 or 5 months into it, we go down there one day, and there's fucking tippy cup table like on one of the ramps, and no one had been riding it, and there's just like shit everywhere, and there's a homeless guy living under one of the ramps. And we went down there. We hadn't been riding a lot. Like at this point, all of us had started to have kids and families, but the electric bill went from like $80 a month to like $350. And so we're like, all right, what the fuck's going on? So we go down, and the guy was living under the ramps. And so we had to evict this gentleman, put him in touch with the mission. But yeah, he was urinating in 20-ounce bottles. The whole place was littered with them. And then the kids that we had put in charge were just going down there to party. So shortly after that, when we didn't have the resources and time to take care of it anymore, we quit doing the warehouse.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Hey, really quick, I want to talk about my one Chicken Trails experience that I don't remember.
I'm going to go on off camera and mute for 1 minute because my dog is on steroids and I think he has to go out really bad. He's not leaving me alone. So,
okay, I'll tell the story then.
Okay.
You're going to miss it though, but okay, so
it's all good.
The one story I have with the Chicken Trails, I woke up one morning in my bed at like 8 a.m. and it must have been like a weekend. And I was in high school, and my feet from my toes to my knees are completely covered in mud, and I couldn't remember why. And like I must have walked into my house. There was tracks going all the way up to my bed. My bed is covered in mud, and I just went straight to bed. And I have no idea what happened. And I probably only like blacked out like twice in my entire life, and that's one of them.
And that's your Chicken Trail story.
Yeah, like when she asked who would I go with, I'm like, I can't even.
You don't remember?
That. No.
Like, let me elaborate on what this is, because the trails, it's a place, we don't own the land. We're going down with shovels, digging up someone else's property and building like sculptures out of dirt, like ramps that we ride our bikes on. Like it's super fucking sketchy. But once you fully understand it, like I look at trails, it's like a work of art. And it's the most fun thing you can do on a bicycle, whether you're on a mountain bike, whether you're on a BMX bike. Like the sky is the limit. And whereas like a skate park, which like I'm inside of right now, like there's the resources required are money to pay for lumber, and there's really specific ways to build stuff. And if you make mistakes, you got to completely start over. And usually you're inside. If you put wooden ramps outside that deteriorate quickly, like it's not like a good sustainable fit. Trails though, like you're trying to be like one with nature. You're working with the natural terrain that's there, and you're like, it's ideal to be under the shade. So you're taking care of the ecosystem that's there. So like the real like hippie in me is like super hyped on trails.
Mm-hmm.
I love
yeah,
that.
You're right. There is like a beauty to that. And also the fact that you're not supposed to be doing it makes it a lot more fun too.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing that kills all trails, is that like you get kicked out, landowner plows them. So it's such the liability is so crazy though. Like there's very few legitimate sets of trails because you can't completely close it off. Like an indoor skate park, you can get insured and completely close it off, so there's business hours. But like a trail set, like it's super dangerous. Anyone can come down there, any skill level and you could die. So yeah, like anyone that owns a property is like, get out of here. And if you get audited by the insurance company, they're like, yeah, you got to plow this stuff. Otherwise we're not going to cover you.
Yeah. And you're quite literally flying through air on a metal machine. Like that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah. It's also the most fun thing in the world.
So from going from being super resourceful to years later, Olliewood was built. We know you purchased it in February of 2023. Did you have any part in when it was being creative prior to that, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so I'll jump back to the warehouse we were talking about a minute ago. So we had the warehouse. It was really, really good. And the warehouse really put us in the eyes of like that Millwork District area. And something that was happening at the time was the Voices from the Warehouse art show. Happened every October. It was a month long. They always had different cool installations. And so our last year where we had the warehouse, Gene Tully and Samuel Grew were like, hey, this is a really urban feel we're going for with Voices this year. We have graffiti artists coming in. Would you guys want to come in and build some ramps inside the space and do like a show one of the nights? So we did. We were super hyped to do it. It was super fun. We like had an audience and it really aligned with like what we were all about. And so that weekend, a kid who grew up here, who had moved to Colorado, Casey Hinderman, was around. And we're like, Casey, come skate in the show. So Casey came and skate in the show, and he just saw like the support we had as a community. And shortly after that, he decided to move back. And his idea was to create Olliewood Action Sports. And that, I think, happened in 2015. So we're coming up on 10 years. 2015, at the end of 2015 is when it opened. So Casey opened it almost 10 years ago, and then had it for 8 years, and then just like life happened. His kids got older, like things changed around in his life a little bit. And I happen to have 2 kids. My youngest daughter loves to skateboard and loves to ride BMX. And so we immediately, when he said he was closing it, started looking into doing something else like the warehouse. Well, since this place was here, I approached Casey about buying some of the ramps or figuring out what the situation was with things. And I just was like, well, how much would you sell the park for? So I talked with my daughter, who I think was 12 at the time. I was like, Pia, hey, do you want to like get involved and like learn how to run a business? And so like the skate park very much so is like a 49-51 thing with my daughter and I.
That's amazing.
Which is super cool. But the first thing we did though, because like it doesn't work out as a business. The liability is very high. Like the business model wise, and not even like financial things, but just like when you run a business, your goal is to make it sustainable and continue to grow and build resources and make money. Like that isn't the reason we got into it. And that's not the reason most people that own a skate park do. So we looked into like different ways to structure the business. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So everything, whether if you come in, so we have a full shop, we sell shoes like Etnies, America, New Balance, we sell a shit ton of Pit Vipers. We have a nice little retail shop in here. If you buy something from here, all the profits from that go to support the youth programs that we do inside the skate park just outside this place.
That's great to know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought I knew what there is to know about Olliewood, and that's super cool.
Yeah, we're getting into an area where we can tell our story a little bit. My day job is I'm a marketing consultant, and this is like I'm just too close to it to like do my job here.
Also didn't know it's a family-owned business essentially with you and your daughter. That's super cool. What is the most fun part about that? Partnering up with your daughter.
I mean, she's 14, so the most fun part, like, is watching like her grow through the programs. We do a thing on Tuesday nights called She Skates, which is girls only. We have two separate indoor skate parks in our facility, and so we shut one down. And if you're not a girl, you can't go in there. And so it's female instructors. My daughter kind of leads that and develops the curriculum and really makes it fun and makes it about a little bit more than skateboarding, which is really, really cool. Wow.
So you're passing the entrepreneur mindset onto her too, which is super cool.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, I don't know, that whole entrepreneurial path is like a unique one for sure. Just being mindful about the things we do, like understanding that like there's an impact beyond how we feel with the decisions we make and the people we come in contact with. Like it can be a little bit the impact we make can be a little bit bigger than this small little circle we're involved in.
And if something doesn't exist or you want something done, you can do anything and you can get shit done.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
And speaking of like the purpose, I feel like Olliewood serves a much bigger mission than just giving a place for people to ride bikes and skate. Can you talk a little bit about action sports culture?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. Like, I mean, we talked a little bit about growing up and just like the friend group I had and how we had to like create things. That is not like, even if you have the resources in your city of having places to ride, the way you have to view the world and view yourself as a participant shifts a little bit from traditional stick and ball sports, from group activities, even independent activities, to how you feel about what you do at the skate park. So one, like the dangers you encounter, like you really become comfortable with risk. So the greatest things that we do often happen when we step outside of our comfort zone, and we start to build a habit of that here. So if it's your first lesson, if you sign up for lessons, and we have kids that sign up for lessons starting at 2 years old, the first thing we do is figure out where their limit is and try to take them just outside it, and then remind them verbally, like, hey, you didn't think you could do this, but you can do so much more. So like, one is just like learning to push yourself beyond what you think you're capable of, because we're all capable of, when we think we've hit our limit, we're probably about halfway to what we actually can do. So that's number one. And number two, the biggest thing too, is that risk assessment. Like, yeah, we're doing scary things. And I mean, we have a box jump section and like this 9-foot tall roll in, which is super scary to roll down. And you'll have kids that barely ride on two wheels that think they can do it. And if we don't stop them, they do it. Like, those are the kids that can benefit the most from what we do here, because we teach them here there's real world consequences. We don't have to we don't have to institute rules. The consequence is being injured or feeling pain. So like, you learn how to manage risk, and we encounter risk every day as adults, whether it's in our relationships or at work, or maybe making a move with a job, or like however that looks. So yeah, we start to build the habits around like risk management, around like stepping outside of our comfort zone at a young age here, and those habits just carry over into life.
So yeah, so not only are you providing a place for kids to hang out and meet other like-minded individuals, you are promoting the risk assessment and teaching growth mindset and getting outside of your comfort zone.
I mean, yeah, that's the big thing.
The risk. Oh, why can't I hear you?
We lose Maddie?
I don't know.
I'll be right back. I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
Yeah, good time. All right. So you drive a Jeep. You don't have any little ducky things.
No.
You're not moving to Atlanta. You might be moving to Phoenix.
I would move like 3 different places right now: Chicago, Phoenix, or like somewhere like, I mean, Colorado would be fun, but I don't know. I'm looking for, yeah. I just like I'm not clung to a specific area there, but I just finally, in July, I went on a girls trip to Denver and finally spent time in the city, whereas I feel like I'm always going out to the mountains and it's always winter. And I do really like the city of Denver too.
Yeah, Denver's fun. I do, like, I lived in Oak Lawn, like south side of Chicago for a little bit, and Chicago is one of the greatest cities that I've ever been to.
I love it.
It does have a little bit of everything. There isn't a place, like, you can go into Chicago right now and go to Ohio Street Beach and there's palm trees, and you can chill out, and you could maybe feel like you're a little bit like in Florida, even on the Gulf. I mean, it has, and then you have the seasons in the winter, and you go an hour away and you can ski, snowboard. Like, there's not a place like that, and it's hard to find.
You can drive 3 hours home. You can hop on a flight to Arizona because you're right by O'Hare. It's great.
You know what is interesting? This is wild. Right now, so we have an airport in Dubuque. So
kind of.
Dubuque Initiatives, kind of. So they're really trying to get more people to fly it. So Dubuque Initiatives is doing this thing, and actually we at Blocktoberfest are working with them. We're going to help spread the word about this, and they're in exchange giving everyone $100 off of your ticket each way.
Wow.
So I just booked a trip to Phoenix, and my Dubuque leg was $101 each way. So I paid $2 to add Dubuque rather than just flying from Chicago to add my Dubuque step. So I get to fly from Dubuque and arrive 15 minutes before the plane leaves and get free parking and do all that shit. And that's like open to anyone. Anyone can do that.
Oh, the credit?
Yeah. So anyone can take advantage of that. So if you want to,
that's so good to know.
You can find flights and like fly into Chicago and pay a couple bucks.
Oh, wow. I'm going to do that.
You have to book before September 30th, but you can book any flights anytime. Yeah. I always have to do them separately. So I usually fly with my bike. So I have to self-transfer, which I have to grab my bag and check back in, but it still ends up being a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And if you don't fly with a bike, like a normal person, it's pretty smooth.
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, like everyone else.
I'm just trying to figure out how to fly with my dog, but that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Great Dane.
Oh, yeah, shit. That is a way different discussion.
Yeah. I would gladly pay for a whole seat for him. It's just like not acceptable, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. I'm on some Great Dane pages and people complain about it all the time. There's just like not a lot of dog friendly flights that will just let you bring your dog on and have him sit next to you. So
yeah, it's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
The last flight I was on, a guy had a chocolate lab with him.
Oh.
And I don't think it was a service dog, but he didn't pay for a ticket. He sat along the window and the dog just chilled out on the floor, like part under the seat.
Oh,
like the whole time. But the dog was like super chill, super happy.
Yeah.
Just happy to be around his owner.
rather
Great
sit
Dane
by a
isn't going to
dog.
work. Yeah.
He's funny. He's a character. If you ask Maddie, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's like a loving term, I think.
Yeah, I know. It was hilarious. I've never heard, and he is an asshole. Like he punches, like, and if you're not paying attention, he'll like swat at you with his paw. And I've never heard a human call a dog a piece of shit before.
I did.
Maddie cracked me up, and I will always repeat it. It's so funny.
Dude, Maddie's really good with one-liners.
I know.
She is like
fucking piece of shit.
He was, but so
He
sweet.
was. He deserved it. Yeah.
But I'm glad that we're redeeming the Dubuque fly Dubuque, because my uncle said he got sent our clip when we were kind of talking about Dubuque not having very many flights out. He's like, I got that sent to me, and it was my niece who was saying it. I'm like,
that's so funny. What they're like, hey, we got to work on this. People are complaining.
Who's your uncle?
do you know Dan?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So next time you see him, well, he'll actually probably come up to you and be like, hey, I saw you on the podcast. So
He's a supporter and a Post Malone fan.
A Post Malone fan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uncle Dan.
Yep. Shout out. If this stays on here, shout out.
We'll see. You never know.
We'll see how this shakes out. But okay. Let's get back on track here.
So we were talking about Olliewood and the mission and
the bigger mission.
Yeah, so I'll jump. We've discussed a little bit about what Olliewood is. It's cool because like the demographics we cater to, like we have a lot of kids through the youth programs, which is something that prior to like my daughter and I's existence, like there really wasn't something like that, and we really saw the next generation of skaters, bicycle riders, like not really engaged, and that's the generation that was just old enough when we hit COVID to like default to a cell phone. And so they built these crazy habits of like their community exists on a cell phone, their entertainment exists on a cell phone. It's not the healthiest way to go about life. So our goal here, especially with that demographic, and that demographic is like probably 14 and under, like especially like 10, 12-year-old. We want to get it. So many of those kids come in and they have their own cell phone. So we don't say, hey, put it away, you can't be on your cell phone here, but we try to just shift the perspective. Like rather than using that for entertainment, you're here to be entertained, and use that for content, use that for inspiration. So you want to do something cool? Yeah, we'll film it. Like we'll use one of the cell phone mounts in the park, film it and post it up and tag us, which is beneficial for us. Plus we're building this habit of like them doing something they're proud of and building the community around that, whether it's here, whether it's elsewhere. And then hopefully like beyond that, using the cell phone, which we're not going to get away from, but as a source of inspiration to continue to grow in their craft. So like that's a little bit of aside from like the risk management and like the perseverance that we teach here with young kids, but it doesn't end with young kids. Like I'm 41, my entire friend group that I grew up with, we all still ride bikes. We all still come and ride here. And those skills that we teach to the kids are common practices in our lives. And a lot of the success we have in our lives is because BMX is still involved in our lives. Same thing for a lot of the guys that skate, like just the habits you build here transfer into life so well. And it's super fun. Like we're all encouraged to meditate, which seems really abstract to most people, including myself. But when you come here, your mind's completely clear. If you want to skate, if you want to ride your bike, you're not thinking about what you're stressed about at work. You're not thinking about your relationship like bothering you. You're not worried about anything. You have to 100% focus. So you end up in this really great microcosm of these positive influences. And it has this wild stigma that we kind of discussed right away with Maddie's little story about blacking out at the chicken trail. Like that's still what a lot of people think about people that skate. Like, oh, my kid's not going to go to the skate park. He's going to come home doing drugs and drinking beers and 8 years old. Like that really isn't the case. Like we really lead with like being a positive environment and trying to create a lifelong, healthy recreational hobby through skateboarding, through BMX and scootering. It's interesting. I really like that stigma was always a challenge, and coming from the marketing side, and I do have like an Airbnb business, so recognizing the aesthetic value of a space, I really wanted to clean things up. So initially when I purchased the park, I came in and I was like, all right, like make the shop look like an Apple store, make it super clean, like clean up the park, pull down all the banners, get rid of the graffiti. And the numbers just kept dipping because it had this almost sterile environment. And I made a mistake, and I wasn't respectful of the existing clientele and the emotion that is evoked by the skate park. It didn't fit. You don't go to the Apple store to feel like the passion and the emotion that you feel at the skate park. So we kind of shifted and just really embodied what should a skate shop be, and just kind of let it happen and really let it be led by the youth that works here and the members. It's been really great to create this environment that can help grow creativity and exploration in the youth.
Yeah. I say this, and I've had this conversation a lot, that I hung out with skateboarders, BMXers, and honestly, I think most of my friend group became very, very successful adults, and people will be like, oh, you hung out with like that crowd. Why are they all successful? And it's because we were all doers. We were all going out, doing things, being active, like you said, making things happen. So it's really cool that you have a space for that, but also for some reason, the stigma still exists about skateboarders, BMXers, action sports. Do you know where that comes from or where it stemmed from?
I mean, the stigma is there. So we do a thing on Friday nights. It's called Skate Club. The goal is, instead of going to the bar after work on Friday, you come here and bring a couple beers here and have a couple beers while you skate or while you ride. Like build that community, because one, you're not going to drink as much. You're going to be doing something healthy. You're building community around recreation rather than around a bar stool. It shifts it. So we're not necessarily, like, the stigma's still there with reason. However, I think society is shifting a little bit in how they view things when it comes to drugs and alcohol. And yeah, I mean, that stigma is there because, I mean, this was the true counterculture. Like skateboarding came from surfing. If anyone has ever seen Lords of Dogtown, it tells a beautiful history of how skateboarding came from surfing. And yeah, it's super rad, very entertaining movie if you watch it. So yeah, I mean, that whole counterculture, which is like, I mean, it's at that time, like, those kids were teenagers. We're meant to push the limits. And so the whole counterculture movement got defined by a bunch of teenagers that are there to break the rules. Like, that's how we all learn, whether it's our parents' rules or society's rules that we're challenging. Like, that's how we learn our place. And so that stigma really stuck. Did the same thing with BMX. Did the same thing with a lot of action sports. So, I mean, that's where that kind of comes from.
You said something before, and I never made the correlation, but skateboarding and BMXing, it's such a creative space. And I've never thought of that. But then I look at all of my friends that used to have that as a hobby, and they're such creatives. And Maddie, that's another thing that probably made them so successful later in life. Like he said, being resourceful and finding like innovative ways to make do of the space that we had to use without having the actual resources we needed. And that was kind of like my aha moment so far.
Yeah. I mean, you view like our platform, whether it's a skate park or whether it's trails or whether it is like a street spot, like grinding handrails and stuff, like it's our canvas, and our brush is our skateboard or our bike. And two people can do the same thing on the same obstacle, but they'll be drastically different. Just like with the same color palette and the same brush type on the same canvas, two artists will create completely different works of art. There's a really beautiful definition of style, and I don't remember, I want to say it might have been Eddie Vedder, but he explained that, because like when you talk BMX and skateboarding, people want to see tricks and stuff. Like what I really care about is style, and to define style is really difficult. But what he explained it as, you could teach a machine to pluck a guitar perfectly, play a perfect solo, every chord perfectly in time, but an amazing guitar player will do it better. And that one missing element that is beyond perfection, like that style, that's what you can bring to the table. And what happens here is like people's styles come out. Like I could get together with my friends and some of the kids that ride with us, and we could do the same line through our box rhythm, but every one of us, it would look way different. It would feel different. It would evoke a different emotion out of someone watching it. Each of us like riding. It's like that style element. It's so personal. It's awesome. It's amazing.
What was the word? Was it steezy?
Steez, yeah.
Yeah, the lingo too. Let's talk about that.
Oh,
steezy. I love it.
What are people saying? What's the lingo now that has changed? Is there any like cool words going on that we don't know?
Dude, so I don't think this is like skate culture, but we get like so much of like that, the middle school age, especially in the winter. Like those kids come in and like that's Riz. Does that mean anything?
No.
Like, dude, Riz, like the Ohio Rizzler, like that kind of shit. And like I've said some stuff and repeated some stuff that I'm not gonna say because apparently it's really inappropriate. I have no idea. Yeah, it's a source of entertainment for me around here.
That was also always like a cool piece of the counterculture. Was I know back in the day people would, say like that's dialed or I remember it was just you could make up anything and it just kind of flowed. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, obviously there's like sick, gnarly, whatever.
Those are classics. Yeah.
Those are classics, but there are a few back in the day.
Yeah, so like the old school, like the 80s, like if you said that's rad, like that's like that was the word, rad, radical. Rad. And then it shifted like the 90s, like that's sick. Then the 2000s, the word was like, I'm hyped on that.
Hype.
Like hype.
And dope.
It's funny, I know these well because I still say all these.
Dope made the best comeback of all time. I'm gonna hand the award for best comeback to Dope.
Yeah,
from the 90s back to the 2020s.
Yeah,
Dope is pretty good.
Response to anything is a response to everything.
Like that's dope. Don't know what you just said, but that's dope.
Yeah. I love how you mentioned adults, though, being a big part of the community. And as an adult that still tries to play volleyball sometimes, I know how hard it is the older you get.
Yeah.
What are the biggest differences you're seeing now with you and your friends as you're getting older but still staying in the culture? Are you serving a different role now?
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like the friends I had, this has been so good because when I was younger, I remember we were 18 years old. I had this really good friend, Steve Willems, and he was a real go-getter. And he was like, yo, we need to do something. Like as a friend group, we need to start a business or do something so we can all like just stay close. And then we don't have to go off and work or do anything. Well, none of us, he went on to live like a crazy life, like managed the Ritz-Carlton in the Virgin Islands, moved to New York. He lives outside the Hamptons now. Like he's got a great life. Shout out to Steve if he listens to this, which I'll make sure to send it to him. He'll get another listener out of this.
Boy, yeah.
But yeah, so he always had this idea, and I'm bummed that he doesn't live here anymore because this has been like so good for getting like my friends. Like I'm super close to my best friends growing up because we all play a role here at the skate park, which is super cool. Like, and it's always aligned with like our interests inside and outside of BMXing. So especially like Jordan Poppentine, who's like a lifelong BMXer. That was my roundabout way to answer your question, but Jordan's better than he's ever been on a bike, and he's 40. Joe Pollan, who's 43, is better than he's ever been on a bike, and he's like turned his enthusiasm and love for BMX into like a piece of his lifestyle. So Standard Bike Company are some of the best bicycles made in the world. They're made in Davenport, Iowa. From Dubuque, he and his brother drive to Davenport, and they're two of the three guys that build the bikes in Davenport. Like, I mean, the history of like bicycles and how closely Dubuque is tied to like BMX is really, really vital, really important. It's a piece of the story that isn't really told, but yeah, it's cool for sure.
Nice. So not that much has changed. You just get smarter, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, when you get older, like life gets hard and you get stressful, so you need an outlet more. So this becomes even more essential. Maybe that's driving like the progression.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but it's cool like to see also like we have friends that like we grew up with that quit skating, quit riding, and then they'll start to come back when their kids start skating or riding, which is super cool, or just kind of on their own, which is awesome. That's a really common story too, and it's so fun to like be immersed in that community again. As far as our demographic that comes here, it's really interesting to see the number. Like we're split like 30, 30, 30, like the middle school and under, the high school, like 20s, and then like the 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, I mean, they make up 30% of the people that come, especially the people that come and travel from out of town because they have the resources to travel, to go ride and skate different spots. But they grew up skating, they grew up riding, so when they go on a vacation, some of it will revolve around doing some of that. So we're happy to be a destination for them and bring some people to Dubuque.
Super cool. Do you see a lot of people come and travel to Dubuque solely to go to Olliewood?
Yeah. Last year we saw people from 42 states, 8 different countries.
Holy.
I mean, we see people, and like the primary reason the majority of them came to Dubuque was to see the skate park, to come ride the skate park. The last renovation we did, which was we got a grant from the DRA to help out with that. So super grateful to the Dubuque Racing Association for helping to facilitate that. But we were able to build some stuff that the next closest place that has some of the features we have here, like going to Cleveland, Ohio, or you're going out to Colorado. So as far as a central location, we kind of have it, which is great.
Crazy. And I bet a lot of people who live in Dubuque don't even know that this is going on right in their own neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
I was speaking at a B2B group this morning about just like different businesses, and I brought this one up, and there were so many questions about it. And like, it's always interesting to see, like, especially that like business professional demographic, and like the stigma is alive and well in their head. So when you start talking about like what you do, like their minds are blown. Like, oh, you do that? Oh, people learn this there, and
yes, it's not just a bunch of potheads hanging out, and
that's the stigma, 100%.
Yeah. Well, speaking of becoming a Dubuque staple, you do have an event going on this weekend. This actually airs September 5th, so it's the day before the event, Blocktoberfest. Can you give us a little info on what's going on tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow is Blocktoberfest in the Millwork District. We have a huge skate BMX competition with people coming from all over the country to compete right here in Dubuque, Iowa. We have an amazing midway provided by Seven Hills with tons of great local food, great local beer, some cocktails, lots of experiences. Red Bull will be there facilitating tug of war with Vault Gym. There's Stein races. There is a great kids area, bounce houses, Capri College doing punk rock hairstyles, henna tattoos, like stuff for the whole family. And new for this year is the Heyday Vintage Market. If you're into vintage clothing, that's the place to be. That's going to be in the courtyard of the Craco building. So that's in the Millwork District. We've been doing that since 2018. And yeah, we're happy to be a piece of that whole Dubuque event thing. I mean, it's technically a fundraiser for us. Like we raise some funds to make it happen, and we get a lot of support from the community. We sell a bunch of t-shirts, and that all fuels the programs that we do for the youth here at Olliewood.
We've talked about it before, and this is hands down one of our favorite events that takes place in Dubuque. Maddie always makes the trip back from Des Moines to go to it. And it was so cool last year just to talk to people that traveled from all over to come, whether they're riding or there to take photos or videos or any of that. There's something there for everyone. And we think that's really special.
Yeah, it's cool. It's been quite a draw. First year we did it was 2018. And I mean, the skateboarding BMX thing is very entertaining to watch, and so we always have this draw on the spectator side of things. And I've always been close to Keith Gutierrez from Seven Hills and Chris Putz from the Dubuque JCs. And at the time, Seven Hills had opened up in the Millwork District, so we started throwing around some ideas. What can we do to bring some people to the Millwork District? This is before Night Market. This is before the events that happened down there, and being a BMXer, I was like, let's throw a skate BMX contest. So Casey Hinderman owned Olliewood at the time. I pulled Casey into it. That first year, some of the ideas and some of the stuff we did revolved around that counterculture. Like, you see people with tattoos, you see people with crazy hair. So it was like, all right, how can we give people this experience and show them that it's nothing to be feared and it can be woven into your daily life? So that's where a lot of the inspiration behind what we do in that kids area happens. Is just kind of demonstrating things that I think kids are taught to fear, that there's nothing to fear.
Yeah, everybody.
The world's a big happy place.
Everyone's a little punk rock.
Yeah, 100%.
It just depends how you show
100%.
it. Yeah.
And on top of that, last year, Maddie even got to drink wine down there, which was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, let's go.
Actually stoked. I was drinking mezcal. Maddie was drinking wine. We were happy.
Yeah.
Happy campers.
Carl from EJ's Wine Bar.
Yeah,
will be down there
EJ's Wine
again,
Bar.
So
Shout out.
They were set up.
Definitely. They're actually. So, are you familiar with who Nicole Braybuck is? She runs the House of Heidi, like event planning and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're doing a collab booth, and yeah, I think it's going to be quite the experience.
Very cool.
They'll be right on the corner of Washington and 10th.
Awesome.
So yeah, that'll be entertaining for sure. We got Red Bull involved a little bit, doing some stuff this year. The skate BMX side will be bigger than it's ever been. Yeah, we got some fun new stuff going on along with that vintage market. Yeah, it should be a great time. Yeah, huge shout out. In the years past, like, it's kind of been Keith and his wife Abby and I that have carried most of the responsibility, and it's been a task. So this year we have an amazing committee running it with like superstars, like just handling different aspects of it. So like our committee for this year has really killed it, done an amazing job. And then the sponsors always step up. Like, big shout out to Seven Hills, Capper Bank, Town Square Media, District 20, like always making things happen. So thank you very much to them.
And you one of my favorite parts every year is do you call it the beer Olympics or the beer games? What is that? What is it called?
We call it the Stein races. So
Stein race.
Yeah,
okay.
a big piece of like what we are. I'm not big on spectators. So you had mentioned like you play volleyball and you try to figure it out. Like, the days of the weekend warrior are like dying. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like everyone did everything. Like when you finished school and had kids and got married or whatever, like settled into life, you didn't quit doing what you were passionate about. You were a weekend warrior. You went and did it on the weekend. Well, like that, the numbers of people still playing basketball and football, like they're dimming. Like, there's not as many adults out there doing these like healthy recreational activities. We don't see that hit so much in action sports. We're trying to get more people into action sports to keep moving. And at Blocktoberfest, like all our events are completely open to the public. Like, put together a tug of war team. You just need 5 people. You can compete. Winner gets cash and prizes. You can sign up day of. Stein races, same thing. Sign up. It looks a lot like the beer Olympics. It's very entertaining. I mean, you can come down and even sign up for the skate contest if you wanted to. Like, everything is completely open to the public. Everyone's encouraged to do everything. We usually always try to get like some type of local celebrity to participate in all the events. Drink all the beer, eat all the food, do the tug of war, do the Stein races, skate a little bit, do the bounce house, get their face painted.
So
amazing. I feel like we do have to give a shout out to Maggie Clement for winning the Stein races.
Oh yeah.
last year. She was
She
on the
killed it,
podcast
yeah.
before. So
I think she's like 34 weeks pregnant this year, though, so I don't think that'll be happening.
We might be having our first Blocktoberfest baby this year.
If she doesn't participate, she's a pussy.
So if this is your competition and you get second or third join this year, the competition is open to win.
So do you remember the guy that won the year before? It was Patrick Gilligan.
Yes.
And he did it holding a baby. And one of the challenges, you had a beer in one hand and you had to take your shirt off. And he was holding a kid while he did it.
Oh
and
my
he did
God.
it faster than it. Dude, it was incredible.
Patrick Gilligan, let's give him a shout out for Pal's Pizza. And he just released a music album, I believe. I saw a music video. So
Lexie just texted me his name 2 days ago. She said, Maddie, Patrick Gilligan. We should invite him on the podcast.
Dude, you said
Patrick, if you're listening.
He is an incredible individual. Dude, like you see a lot of people doing cool shit, but hearing the story behind why they do it is really enlightening and inspirational. And his story is like, dude, he's awesome. He's a great dude. Does the things he does really well. He's a rad human being.
And I heard he makes pretty great pizza, and I haven't had a chance to eat it yet, but I've seen photos and I've seen like the unique concoctions, and I'm dying to try it.
Yeah.
I love it all.
Yeah, he's a good human for sure. And his music rules. And he supports, like we do, so at Olliewood, so we do all ages shows once a month on Saturday. And he is one of the most requested bands we get, like from the youth here. Because he's just such a good dude.
Yeah, I love that.
Quick question. How can people support Olliewood and Blocktoberfest?
So 2 big ways. One, Blocktoberfest, volunteer. There is a volunteer form to sign up. You pick your time. They're only 2.5 hour, 2 hour, 15-minute time slots. It's a good time. Get you some beer tickets, get you a t-shirt. It's well worth it. You get to be engaged in the community and be a part of Blocktoberfest. Number 2, at Olliewood, come to the pro shop, buy some of the New Balance or Etnies shoes we have, buy some of the merchandise we have here. If you're not a shopper, we offer a support membership for $10 a month. You support all the youth programs and all the youth outreach stuff we do through the Boys Club, Fountain of Youth, everything to get kids to put their smartphones and video game controllers down and get them engaged in some face-to-face recreation.
So what I'm hearing is either show up to the most fun event of the year or shop, and that sounds pretty damn easy.
If you're buying it anyway, just buy it there. You're going to buy shoes anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, our prices are cheaper than online too, because our mission isn't to line anyone's pockets with the shop. It's to support the programs and keep people coming back. So
it's going directly back into your community.
100%.
Okay, we have some quick fire questions for you, Jay, before we leave.
Before Maddie has to get to her viewing.
You got
her very important viewing.
2 minutes.
I'm fine.
Hurry.
You guys, I always say 10 minutes. I have a hard stop 10 minutes before I actually have a hard stop. But
she patted us.
Good call. I love it.
I like your corporate jargon. Patted. Is that
she patted us for sure? But I meant it in a sexual way. I'm just kidding. What? I don't know where that came from. Okay, first question. What's your go-to trick on the BMX?
Oh shit. Tabletop for sure.
Tabletop?
One of the oldest tricks. Yeah, you just like.
What is that for people that need to visualize?
You pull like the wheels up and push the handlebars down and like make the bike flat.
Oh,
like you're riding.
Yeah.
The name makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're making this sound really uncool. Yeah, tabletop sounds awesome.
You tabletop the shit out of that one.
Hell yeah. I love when people take things that aren't verbs and make a verb out of them.
That's my job.
And I'm tabletopping the shit out of this podcast right now.
I do that. Damn it.
What was your favorite skate/BMX video growing up or currently?
Oh, shit. Day Late Dollar Short, for sure. Mark Paisley introduced me to it. It was like a low-key video, just a crew from Ohio of a bunch of friends. They weren't like riding for a team. No one was getting paid to do it. They just wanted to make a video. And dude, everyone went on to be legends because they were just doing it because they loved it. And yeah, super good. Day Late Dollar Short.
It's
on YouTube. You can look it up. Otherwise, look up Albert Street if you want a feel of what like 90s BMX was all about.
Okay, so Albert this is 90s.
Yeah, 90s, early 2000s. Guy starts off by eating a light bulb.
I just had a flashback moment to sitting in Dustin DeMuth's basement watching skate videos, and it completely took me back in time.
I'm going to give a shout out to a skate video too. Look High, Fully Flared is pretty good. That intro is pretty epic. That introduced me to the band M83. And dude, like Costin, like when everyone thought he was in his prime, past his prime, like showed up for that one. Yeah, that's a great video too. Fully Flared.
Always use the best music in skate videos.
Dude, I know.
Yeah.
So I play in a band and I'm super into music, and I'm only into music because I grew up riding BMX, and the music was so good in the edits, and it was always like music that wasn't big yet and it was about to be. And yeah, dude, it's BMX changed my life for sure. I know I said that before, but it has.
But in like so many different ways.
So many, dude, every facet of my life. Yeah, it's been such a gift.
Do you know what video? Okay, you probably don't remember this one, but that's how I got into music too. Do you remember? There's a video where there's a song called "Floating" by Jape.
Yes. Flow. Yeah.
I know the song, but I don't know what video it's from.
That's the only one that I remember that I was like, oh, I love that. Really got me into like watching them, obviously with a bunch of people, but for the music, it affects.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
good call out, Maddie. Okay, next question. What's scarier? First time dropping into a half pipe or owning a business? I guess in your case, several businesses.
I mean, yeah, dropping into a half pipe for sure. Like there's 4 feet of vert on like a legit half pipe. Yeah, like first time I dropped in on a half pipe, I think I was like 14 at the Scrap in Chicago at Scrap Skate Park. And yeah, like I felt like I free fell forever. And business doesn't get scary until you fuck it up. Like BMX is scary. It should, if you don't scare yourself, you're doing it wrong. Like you should push a little bit harder. Like you should get in that uncomfortable zone.
Oh man.
Yep. I think owning a business is scarier. It's so much more long-term anxiety and fear, where like dropping into a half pipe, like that'll be done within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
One way or another.
So that's so funny. It's interesting how you think that way, because I totally feel like, yeah, I mean, I'm BMX, like I'm in it for life. Like I know that, and businesses will come and go.
Ooh, see,
Ooh.
I don't
like I know that. Like I will, yeah.
I love that.
I know that about me. It's interesting.
Perspective.
That was good.
Yeah, that was deep. Love it.
All right. Well, let's do a quick recap. Now's your chance. A quick recap of the date, the time, what's going on this weekend at Blocktoberfest, where people can find you online.
So if you have questions about what we do at Olliewood Action Sports, follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Olliewood Action Sports. All your questions will be answered. Come down to Blocktoberfest tomorrow, September 6th, from noon to 5 in the Millwork District. No matter how old you are or what you're into, I promise you will have a good time.
We do too. We promise.
We promise, and we'll be there.
We'll see you there.
Right, Maddie?
We need to talk about that.
Okay.
I was planning on having people come over, but I think I might bail on it because I didn't really realize that this is coming up this fast.
We did it a week early this year. But
you might see us in volunteer shirts. I don't know if you have shirts, but
we do. They're sweet too. We got a cowboy riding a skateboard in the desert.
Damn,
right, I'm coming.
Enticed. Yeah.
Stop. Say less.
Say less. We're in. But I want to thank you again for joining us today. It's just very clear that Olliewood is way more than just a place for action sports. It's about community and belonging, and I mean, really establishing some pretty core values at a very young age, or maybe an older age. It's for everyone. So
yeah, establishing them and continuing to remind us as we grow.
Yes, continuing to build.
Sure. Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. It has honestly been an honor. First time, long time for me. And so it's cool to be on this side of the podcast. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We were so tickled last year when we were at Blocktoberfest and you mentioned the podcast to us, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So full circle moment having you on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes. Well, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss an episode. And find us on Instagram and TikTok at Wait You're Mad for behind the scenes, listener questions, and opinions. New episodes drop every single Friday, so mark your calendars. See ya.
Bye.